Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Oh, this network issue. We thank God for another Saturday. So, thank you for holding on. This is Dr. Tony on Forever Together program. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you so much. So, today I'll be talking about my moment of depression, part 1, because the depression was in series. So, but let's start from and how to handle it, because that's the purpose. The story is not going to be about how the depression was or what it was or how deep it was, but what did I do to overcome it, or what were the benefits that I was able to get in my moment of that depression. So thank you so much for holding forth. Today is episode 15, like I said, and the title for today's episode, 15 Moments of Depression. You know, if you can recollect, I mentioned it that when I finished from College of Education, I had a distinction in mathematics, distinction in integrated science, and we had the opportunity to go to Obafemi Awolowo University, then University of Ife, to just spend 2 years for our first degree. But everything that I had exhausted, so I didn't have the money to go, because I managed. In fact, by the time I finished that NC, I had sworn, if I hear anything school, I will not dare it, because it was really a turbulent time for me. I can't count the number of times that I was left with only garri, or the number of times that it will only be beans. So beans and garri were like the savior at that point in time. Even though the garri was so cheap, I think 500 naira or so for a basin, but it wasn't easy to come by. So I was discouraged that I will not be able to go. Now, my fellow girls, ladies, women, any man that will not contribute to make you move forward is not worth to be in your life. And if you don't ask for it, if you don't talk about it, nobody will think for you. Because years later, I sat down and I did the analysis of my life. Okay, why didn't I insist that, my education is number one priority. So this marriage of 18, let's be patient. Or even though if I can still have children, since we are so much interested in having children, I can have children while in school and all that, but let me go back to school first. Maybe if I'd made that to be the condition at the time I was reigning, maybe it would have worked. But I didn't talk about it. I know I was no longer focusing on my life, on my progress. I wanted to settle down. This good for nothing girl who had 2 children already, and somebody is proposing to marry her with the 2 children, when there were so many young girls who couldn't get anybody, I thought I was lucky. I was fortunate. I put my future aside. So that is what I want you to learn today. When things happen to you, what do you do? How do you handle your situations? So at that point in time, I didn't even make it a priority. So it's not as if I made it my priority and it discouraged me. No, it didn't discourage me. I didn't even talk about it. I didn't even put it forth that, okay, this is my desire. No. Because I struggled to finish the NC, so I thought I was done with education. But when this weight, 69 kg to 40 kg, was on, You know, I mentioned in one episode that I started learning how to sew, which wasn't a bad idea. It's always good to be in good company. I tell you, any friend that will not contribute to your progress, any friend that will not motivate you to move forward, is not worth to be in a relationship with you. And when I'm talking about relationship now, not boyfriend girlfriend relationship, no, even just friends. Just friends, female to female, male to male. So there was one of my colleagues. She used to call me Yao, my sister-in-law. Not because I was related to her husband, but because her husband is from her side. So we became close. So she wanted to start first degree. Don't forget, I was already working. So initially I wasn't too happy about it because of the financial commitment. I wasn't excited to start, but anyway, I started because the home front wasn't even good enough for me. I had nothing to be doing at home anymore, so why not just look for something to do? And that is what depression can do. You know, when one is depressed, you can go into smoking, you can go into having unfruitful relationships, you can go into drugs, you can go into so many things that are not profitable. But I don't know why each time there was depression in my own life, it always propelled me to add value to my life. Because I will look at it from the point of view that, okay, if I don't want to remain in this condition, what do I do next? So we went back to school. I wanted to study computer science, but because it was on a part-time, the admission was on a part-time, and I couldn't go to Nsukka at that time. Then later, when I was ready, there were no enough lecturers for such a course. So I stayed glued to my mathematics. But I want to tell you that it wasn't even easy, because I would have to pay my child's school fees from that same salary. From that same salary, I would have bought rice, bought melon, bought palm oil, vegetable oil, bar soap. That bar soap, I know that it was a popular soap that time, ST soap. I don't know if it is still available now. So I would have bought those things. And by the end of the month, my salary was 5 naira less, 2,000 naira less 5 naira. So by the time I collected that money, I would have exhausted everything. I would just share, I would distribute to the. So it wasn't really easy for me. Anyway, please, if this Facebook is not really working, please, you can go to Instagram. Instagram is okay. So I don't know why the Facebook is misbehaving this evening. So I resumed school and we were going. And before you know it, 100 level, 200 level, then 300 level came. 300 level, I couldn't continue, you know. I made up my mind that I will need to stop because I can no longer continue. Not for health challenge, but for financial problem. But it's good to always be in good company, like I mentioned to you. This my sister-in-law, my wife, when I told her that, look at the situation, see, my child is owing 600 naira in school and I can't even afford to pay, so I think it's better I stay behind. Let me just leave this school and focus on my baby. She said one thing that I can never forget. I hope she's watching this program now. If she's not washing, I will send it to her. She said, yeah, call me my sister-in-law. There's no certificate for 300 level. The moment you stop, you are still NC holder, because there's no certificate for 300 level. And that thing really hits me. So I now say, okay, so what am I going to do? I'm owing 600 naira now, and I can't pay. She said, anyhow, we will do it. She promised to be coming to school with enough food that 2 of us will eat. She promised to pay my transportation fare. Then I would just pay my tuition. And how much was the tuition? I checked all my receipts. I think 2016, when I was moving to Jos, I saw those receipts. None was up to 1,000 naira. Or so, or maybe 10,000. I can not up to 10,000 naira. But it was very challenging. So I said, okay, you come with enough food. She said yes. You pay my transportation fare. I should just look for my tuition. She said yes. So I said, okay. That word gave me courage. Like I was asking you last week, what are you saying to people? What are the effects of your words to the people around you? Are your words bringing them down, or your words are molding them? She encouraged me. And at the end, this God is miraculous. He doesn't mind our shortcomings. He's not waiting for us to become holy and perfect before we attend to our needs. No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't. At all, he doesn't. Miraculously, I think there was increase in salary from that 2,000 naira. I can't remember, maybe to 2,800 or something like that. So she didn't need to pay my transportation fare anymore, as she has promised, because I now had enough. So I paid my school fees. We went to school. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I was able to finish. But you know, it is good to do good. When you do good to people, they tend to remember. And if you do terrible things, that one they can never forget. In fact, it's easier to forget your good deeds. So there were people that were planted on my road during that period. And I want to talk specifically about 2 of them, just 2. Because as time unfolds, I'll be talking about so many people. There was this lady, I won't mention her name, but I contacted her late last year to remind her what she has done for me. And I thanked her again, because it took me so many years to be able to get her contact. This lady will give me t-shirts, shoes, bags, face cap, brocades, and lace. Around that time, there was this particular lace called jacquard. So she will give me those things to go and sell. So I will sell. And there was another colleague of mine too. I think she's maybe from Oyo State, or it should be from Oyo State, because she has this tribal mark. She too was also selling. She will also give me. And they will give me these things. I will sell. At least I will have something on top. I will make my own gain. Then another thing that I want you to learn from that is that when you are given opportunity, please don't abuse it. I was so poor at that point in time that if I spent their money, I would have every reason to justify it. But I did not. If their money was in my hand, I would rather go hungry rather than eat from that money. I will not. And you know, when you sell to people in the office like that, or in offices, they do part payments. Then maybe by the end of the month, you go back to the office to collect. Every first payment, I will always take to them, to those who gave me goods. I will not spend from it. I won't assume that, okay, by the time this person pays, then my profit's okay. From that 500 naira profit, let me spend 200 naira now. No, I will not. I will wait until their own money is complete, then I will have my own profit. So God planted those people on my path to make me move forward. But don't forget, this lady that was kneeling for me, kneeling for my ex that time, and eventually told me that you have been hiding me. It's time to let her know that this is me and this is my position. She also bought some items from me. She bought for her boyfriend. So she promised to pay, but she did not pay. And up till now, she did not pay. I remember one day when, because after I'd known about the relationship, so I went to the mom to report her that, okay, this is what your daughter is owing me and I need my money. He said, go and call, then send somebody to call my ex, so that because what she wants to say, she will want both of us to be there. So I was thinking that, she wanted to pay me and she wanted him to be a witness. Because I told her, my report was that, now that you are ready to take my husband, you can't take my husband and take my money. So give me my money. Since you have taken the husband, that was my report to the mom, to the mother. But I was shocked when my ex came. And she now said, whoa, you see, while I go, Loma Palace water. In those days, there were no bottled water, there was no sachets of water. People that were selling ice water, they were putting the water inside bottles. So in the course of trying to make ends meet, they were always looking for bottles to keep their cold water for sale. So that was the interpretation of that okay, the stress that I'm going through will be the stress that will terminate my life if I'm not careful. Because she doesn't know why I'm so concerned about that money. That if my ex cannot pay that money, if I refuse to collect the money from my ex, then I don't need the money. I said, no, I can't collect the money from him because she bought those things for another man. She said then, I didn't need that money. Because if I really needed the money, I would have collected it from. So I look at that tribe. Is it true that they are all like that? Because years later, I have friends from that tribe. And they are not like that. So was she like that because she was confident that she has things that she can use, that nobody can harass her? I don't know. She even said, that where is the husband that my daughter is even taking? Look at him. Where is he? Doing like this to him. In his presence. Not that somebody said. In our presence. He said, where is the husband now? That I'm crying all around. That I cannot forgo certain amount of money. How much is the money? I was shocked. Because he too did not see anything. He couldn't see anything. Where is the husband? So if it's not worth taking from me, then what is the daughter doing with him? Anyway, to cut the long story short, they didn't pay me the money. She said I should collect it from my ex. So when we go back home, I asked her, I said, can you see your life? You see your life for outside. They said, where is the husband? That you are not worth anything. She said, go and sit down. She didn't mean it that way. I said, so truly what the landlord is saying is the truth. That they have given him something to eat that will make him lose his sense. Because sometimes when your partner or your spouse is misbehaving, you need to really check what the problems are with him or with her. Because it can happen to both sides or either of the sides. He handled it with levity. He didn't say anything wrong in what she said. So, if he didn't say anything wrong, Will I be the one to be fighting now? Even when my money was still hanging, and even the profit I was expecting on the goods that I collected at that point in time, what he was owing was more than my profit. So it wouldn't have been that, okay, let me just forgo as my profit. So I have to pay the people that gave me goods. So, but what I don't understand is when two people are in a relationship, because it happens so many times to ladies, the man will be telling you that this one, I don't need her, she will soon leave my house. So you are the one that I really need. And the woman will be foolish to believe such statements. The wife is not good, but she's still in his house, and you are outside, and he cannot take you to his house, and you are thinking that, oh, you are fortunate. My sister, you are not. You are in a big mess. There are things that he's enjoying from you that he doesn't want to forgo. So you are not in his plan at all. You are not in his future plan. So don't assume. Don't assume. So the money went like that anyway. I didn't get it. But concerning my school now, there was one testimony that I remember. One day, I think I was already in final year. So I now saw one lady. I think I've known her before, but I was just surprised to see her on campus. So I said, oh, how are you? Are you here for a course? She said, yes. I said, which course? Then she told me. I said, I hope genetics is not part of your course. She said, genetics. I said, genetics is a course in biology. She said, no. And I said that purposely because the lecturer was standing there watching us. That same lecturer was the one that harassed me previously during my NCA program, because it was mounting so much pressure on me. And I said, I'm married, sir. I'm married. I already have children. He said, why are you so much in a hurry? A beautiful girl like you. Why are you so much in? And his wife was also on campus. And the wife was a lecturer there. And the wife was beautiful, brilliant. When the harassment was much that time, I invited that was long before now, to come. So I think I've mentioned that in another episode. When we went to his office, he now said, oh, that he has told me if any lecturer is harassing me, I should just let him know. And later I started making jest of me on campus that I was a stupid girl, bringing her husband to meet lecturer, that I'm not exposed, I don't even know what is going on, I don't know what is trending and all that. So that same lecturer, I saw him. And I said, I hope you are not offering genetics. So because that's almighty genetics, you can never pass it. No matter how brilliant you are, and if you are too brilliant, your answer for number 1 can go for number 3, number 3 can go for number 2. Like that. And eventually you come up with E. Because that was the excuse he gave me. I had E in that course. He told me that because there was a panel that was set up, because I reported to the provost, I reported to the dean, I reported to my HOD, I reported to everybody. So, and I'd reported long before we wrote the exam. So, because I was thinking of what he was likely to do, so I reported, so that they won't think, oh, because I didn't do well in his exam, I wanted to blackmail him. So I'd reported him before that time. And he knew, because he asked me, and I said, I don't know anybody, I didn't talk with anyone. So the lady left, and this lecturer, see, you can talk about your grievances, but please always let go. That thing that I did that day, I won't do it now. No, I won't do that again now. But I just did it that time to show him that despite all your harassment, I'm still here now, and I'm no longer your student. So because at the end he apologized, because later when he saw me in another lecturer's office, there were two other chairs. I was sitting on one, another lecturer was sitting on one. Then the lecturer who in his office was on his own seat. So he entered. You know, usually you are supposed to stand up for your lecturer. Whether the person is your lecturer now or former lecturer, the respect should be there. I did not stand up for him. And he looked at my face very well. He said, are you not one of our students? I said, yes, I was. But I'm no longer your student. I'm no longer offering genetics that will give me E, that I will miss, that I will not even know where to write my answers and put answer for number 3 into number 1 and all that. And I think when I said that, he remembered. He now said, you still have this thing on your mind? Please forgive me. Please forgive me. So I stood up for him to sit down. And I really forgave him. And I'm glad that I had forgiven him before he died. Because the thing will, because when we refuse to forgive, it hinders our own progress. That's the truth. All those things were not necessary. All those things that I was doing, they were not necessary. Because at the end, I still made distinction. So my focus should have been on God, giving thanks to God, rather than focusing on his misbehavior. So let's learn to forgive. Let's learn to forgive. It is good to forgive. Because Jesus forgave us, God forgave us, and Jesus came to die for us. And we can never be perfect. So we should not expect perfection from anybody. So let's learn to forgive, please. So I finished the first degree, to cut the long story short. But before I was able to finish, what are the things that happened? Because that one, we don't have enough time for that today. That will be next episode. But let me just start it so that next episode will complete it. In fact, we can't complete it next episode. That will be like 5 episodes now. So one of the trips to campus for my course, I returned. Lo and behold, my ex has moved out. But he left my baby for me. And my cousin that was with me at that time. So he came back, I think the following day, to move the remaining things. And he saw me. And I asked him, where are we moving to? He said he doesn't know. Wherever I like, I should move to. Just like that. Is this a dream? No. And at that point in time that I came back, I had exhausted the little that I had with me on campus. Then coming home, my cousin told me that my daughter didn't go to school that week because I have not paid school fees. So they were both at home. So I begged him, okay, now that we are going, what about this school fees? He said he didn't have. Okay, so where will I go to now? You are the one that brought me to Lagos. So where am I going? He said he doesn't know. I should go to wherever I like. Okay, so what am I going to do? Okay, can you please give us this small mattress so that at least wherever we find ourselves, we'll say, no, I need all my things. And me, I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything at that point in time. Apart from the few clothes that I have, I didn't have any property. So my few clothes, I put them inside the one black nylon bag. And the landlord was very excited. He was laughing at me. I was telling you, you did not believe me. Now, what are you going to do? So I went to him. I said, please, I will continue to pay. He said, no. Because I'm an incorrigible person. He refused to allow. I said, I will keep one room. He said, no. He refused. So I asked him, where am I going now? He said, is he the one that brought me to this house? That the person that brought me is going now, so I should go. If you are in my shoe, what would you have done? I couldn't sleep. How will I sleep? No, just tell me, how will I sleep? I couldn't sleep. So I was thinking, okay, what can we get to eat? Even if I'm not eating, my baby must eat. So we did that. Then when it was 4 a.m., I left the house. People that are familiar with Ojodu Berger, Akiode, Ogba side, they will understand what I'm about to say. I left Akiode, I don't know, maybe it was past 3 or to 4. I didn't look at the time. But I trekked from that Akiode to Ogba. Not just Ogba by the bus stop, Ogba inside. I was supposed to take a bus to Ogba bus stop, from Ogba bus stop to take a bike to that house. But I trekked because I didn't have anything again. Then where did I go to? There was this woman and her husband who were all in the same church. She was the head of the children's church where I was serving. Then the husband was in interpretation department. And sometimes too, I used to do interpretation at that time. You know, where there are so many blind people, one-eyed person will be the king. So sometimes, especially during the week service. So by the time I got to their house anyway, it was past 4 a.m. So maybe I left home at about 3 because I can't remember how many minutes it took me. You know that kind of movement at that point in time. You know, that was in the midnight. So by the time I knocked their door, they were afraid. They were looking for cutlass, looking for something, because they thought maybe it was an armed robber also. So I had to mention my name, that I'm in big trouble. So when I mentioned my name, the wife was the one that opened. She was surprised. Said, It was later they were telling me that when I started knocking, that they were afraid, they were looking for what to use in case it was an armed robber. So I told him, I said, my problem now is not even where I will stay or where I will live. My problem, the only problem I have is my baby. And this couple, they are looking up to God for the fruit of the womb. She said, no, God forbid, that child cannot be my problem. I said, now, I'm owing the school, I cannot pay. Now, I'm back, I'm supposed to resume work. I will not be able to go to work. And I don't even know where I'll be sleeping. She said, okay, what we are going to do, you can come to our house, then I will take you to our head teacher. She was working in a private school. I will take you to our head teacher so that if you are employed, your child will be entitled to tuition-free education. I said, tuition-free? She said, yes. Tuition-free? Hey. She said, yes. I said, okay. She has not started, but I was already excited. But was I given that opportunity to serve in that school? That would be another episode, because it's a very long story. To succeed in life is not easy. To move forward is not easy. But one thing that I kept doing that time, if I couldn't run, I would make sure that, okay, I walked. Where I could not walk, I will make sure that I crawled. I was always moving, not being stagnant. I refused to be on the same spot. So how did I leave that house where the person that brought me now has moved out, and the landlord said I cannot continue to live in that house? So what happened next? What did I do? How did I go about it? What happened to my child's school fees? that I was owing. Then how did God come into my situation? You see, this God, nobody can talk to me about him anymore. You know why? Because I've known him. I've known him. I've known him so much that I know that no, he's not waiting for me to become perfect before he will accept me. No, he has accepted me the way I am. The only thing he wants me to do is to continue lean on him, because he has said that he is divine and I'm the branch. If I refuse to stay put, stay glued to the branch, you know that to the vine, any branch that is cut off will get dry. And that is my advice for everyone today, that when it is difficult for you to walk, please crawl. Don't remain on the same spot. Please don't remain on the same spot. Make sure you are moving, and let that movement be positive one. Because in moments of depression, people can do nasty things, especially if they are in the company of bad people, or if they are in the company of people that do not have God in their life. This my wife, you know, this my colleague that was calling me Yaokomi, my sister-in-law. She's a Christian. Maybe if I was in company of another person who was socializing, going to club, maybe that is what I would have joined her to do after much pressure. So, and did I finish the first degree successfully? It is obvious, because if I didn't finish, I would have had a PhD. And because that was what she told me, said will remain NCE holder and you'll not be able to go further. And that is the truth. To go for masters, you must have had your first degree. So I want to thank you for your time today. And please, 3 things I've told you to learn from today's episode. Watch the words of your mouth. Are they bringing people down, or are they molding people's lives? First. Then secondly, when people give you opportunity, please don't abuse it. Like when I was given opportunity to sell items for people, I was not spending their money, even though I was in need, but I didn't spend their money. I didn't. I refused to spend their money. I refused to divert the fund. Then thirdly, be in the company of the right people, so that when challenges come, God can use them to move you forward. So thank you very much for today's episode. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you, and I want to thank the Almighty God who has given me the grace, the privilege to share this story, because many people had similar story but they didn't live to tell it. I'm alive to share the experience, and I give God all the glory. And I want to thank my husband for giving me the permission, because not every man will allow his wife to do this. So I appreciate him, and I pray that the anointing of God upon his life will continue to flow without ceasing, in Jesus' mighty name. So thank you very much. See you next week, next Saturday, by the grace of God. God bless you. Thank you.